Welcome to Believe. My name is Nicholas Upchurch. It's a beautiful day. I'm so excited you're here, wherever you may be, all around the world, day or night. Thank you for joining us. We want to help to awaken you, to bring you light, try to give you hope, help you with true success, money and business, health and wellness, world news, our universe. Our website is www.believe.love. Our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and YouTube is Believe Loves You. That's one word, Believe Loves You. And I'm so happy you're here. You know, we're going to bring this to you more often. I'm working on ways to help to kind of get these shows streamlined so we can really hang out together more often and really build a community. And I want to do that with you. Of course, you can listen to us with the podcast version at believeandroid.com and then believeitunes.com as well. So subscribe to all of those or whatever ones kind of suit you, and comment on our YouTube. And let us know. Of course, our email is believe@believe.love. That's believe@believe.love. And we have a big show for you today. It is really, really exciting because there's so much going on. My God, this is quite a time to be alive, isn't it? It's an amazing time to be alive. And it can be quite challenging, really. There can be a lot of challenges. I'm well aware of those challenges, and we want to embrace them. We want to embrace what we think we should hate, and we want to try to find solutions if we can. And I was just thinking today about how crazy it is. I mean, there are actually nights that I lay down and I'm like, man, I know there's going to be a lot of weird stuff going on tomorrow. Like, I could just feel it. I know that when I wake up tomorrow, there's going to be so much, I'm just going to I might have some emails, and who knows what these certain companies will be doing. And, we're trying to make things happen. I'm trying to get back on the horse, We have to make some money. It's interesting because I made a lot of money years ago. Then I had these big life changes. And I was trying to kind of do the right thing. And last year we had a studio and so many good people helping. And I spent a lot of money. Have you ever done that? You kind of had a passion project. Maybe you didn't go about it the right way. And so I'm happy to report that at least it seems preliminarily like things are going in the right direction money-wise. And the truth of the matter is, as much as we talk about, sort of harmony and trying to find the solution and everything else, there's a lot of tough things to deal with all the time. For example, we can be harmonized and everything else, but I know my friends have little kids. And have you ever tried to get a little kid to do something? Now, some little kids are really like easygoing. They just kind of go with the flow. But some aren't, right? I mean, some are like wild. And just to kind of to work with that can be difficult. And to work with anything that seems to be coming at you in a harmonious way, right? What is that? How do you even do that? I mean, what I would say is that we can improve more and more as we try to do that, but it can be difficult. And especially when it comes to things like money. When it comes to money, when we are in survival mode, we are not trying to hear that. And that could mean anything, and we have to people have to not be their best self. And why is that? That's what I'm going to talk about first. The first thing I want to talk about on the show is basically survival mode. And if you really look at, I'm going to pull up something now on the screen. So if you look at like survival chakras, your root chakra, right? This is just a Google search, survival chakras. First of all, I didn't even know what a chakra was 10 years ago. I thought it was fake. You know, I was like 27, maybe 9 years ago. And I stumbled into this Kundalini yoga class and they were chanting. And I thought this was crazy. I was like, what is this chanting? You know, this can't be real, right? So it was real. The truth is, the way I knew it was real is because I didn't even know what I was doing, and I felt the effects like it was tuning an instrument after the class. So your lower chakras are usually, you know, which is down below, you know, at the base of your spine, and then maybe your second chakra as well. But it's really when those are out of tune, or when you're trying to survive, you're not going to be your best self, your most harmonious self. And when you feel like you know, people are doing things that threaten that, you're going to want to fight back automatically in many cases. At least that's how I was raised. That's how we're all basically raised. And we're always arguing, especially about money. I mean, think about companies that they make a charge inaccurately, or different companies keep money from you. I mean, how many disputes are there about money? There are a lot. I mean, today I woke up, I'm like, oh, this traffic is like not good. There's some traffic, you know, web traffic that was getting sent to us. I'm like, this is completely bad traffic. So the company told us it wasn't going to be that way, and it was, you know, and it's very obvious. There's no question about it. And so it's hard. It's hard in these circumstances, and I'm trying to work through it. And I think we all can. And the biggest thing is first to realize it's not that I might be able to change. I mean, at the end of the day, I need to get my money back, right? But it's hard because when you look at the bigger picture, it's like money in itself was designed in part to do this. Money may have been, because we've talked about hidden technologies many times on the show before, and we're going to work to release those. Not we're going to, we are. Great team in Venezuela, which I've gotten frustrated with. You know, people that really know me, especially working for me, I've gotten frustrated a lot, period. But actually, I'm getting far less frustrated now than I would have 10 years ago, which I was just going crazy. Honestly, when I did real estate, I mean, companies would just keep thousands of dollars. They would just, I mean, it was crazy to me. It was crazy. I moved to Miami. I love Miami. And by the way, I'm not perfect and everything else, but there's a lot of nonsense going on with money and people keeping it and trying to, you know, in order to get your money back, you have to be tough sometimes. And really, I mean, my version of being tough was just saying, hey, listen, I'm honest, so I'm going to be honest. You know, you can't, you know, you got to do what you say. Pay on time, do what you say. That's it. And that hurts me. That hurts me that had to be the case, because it's so silly. Why it's difficult for us to do what we say. And I haven't even been 100% on that, but we can move up into the 90% range. That would be, and then we can also realize that this money thing, there's a much bigger, it's a control mechanism. That's all it is. With free energy, which we're working on in Venezuela, God bless them, because literally I can't even, I feel, do you ever feel so like you want something to work out so much that you're almost afraid to, like, honestly, for me, when people are working remotely, it's better because with all my heart and soul, I want that to happen. And I know myself, right? So I want to stay as positive as I can and be as patient as I can with people, especially with good intentions. And because of I don't know, maybe because I grew up in football and coaches were hard on us or whatever, and I saw that as that was motivation, or for whatever reason, I want to stay patient. And I notice a lot of things. So it can be hard for me to stay patient. So we have a team in Venezuela. They're doing a great job. I heard one thing. One of our guys down there in Venezuela, he's like, he has to go and stand in line for 2 hours to withdraw money every day to ride the bus, which has to cost 10 cents. I mean, it can't cost very much. And so he has to, because they have a cash shortage, like the actual paper bills, they have a cash shortage, not just, and it's poor as well, but they also have a physical cash shortage. There's things going on there that I can't even imagine. None of us, most of the people listening to this, maybe some people out there understand. Maybe the crew in Venezuela is listening, and hey, listen. And most of them, I'm dealing with our manager. And, it's hard. It's hard because basically my point of all of this is, how do you make things happen and stay nice and harmonized? And how do you deal with yourself being imperfect, and also all of the things you notice going on? People not doing what they say. There's theft potentially, or just flat out theft. There's incompetence in all of us, not just everybody else but me. You can include me in it if you want, if it makes you feel better. Because it's true. Sometimes I forget where I put my keys. Sometimes I'm like, I can't even think about, simple things. But how do you harmonize all of those things? I'm talking about the things that would make it so there's literally no poverty. It traces itself down to lies. Or an agenda that, and if you think about it with kids, right? How many times have parents just lied to the kids because they thought, even about Santa Claus or about something else, just because they needed them to do something else. Like they didn't want them to do something. So you do like a white lie, or even a big lie, because the kid's not going to figure it out. Maybe there's some of that going on. I'm talking about with the government and everything else. But when we're in our survival mode, for some reason I put myself pretty much in it, even after making a ton of money. And I have no idea why. Between, locking money up in other things and spending a lot and not focusing on making money first, and just like, I'm nowhere near what I was in 2013 before I made a ton of money. But still, that feeling can just drain the crap out of you. It can drain you to where you not only can't you really be your most harmonious self, but you can't even think straight. You can't, everything is based around that. you know, you have to, you feel like you're bleeding. You feel like you can't get your bearings sometimes. And I just want to tell you that it's very likely that there is a program worldwide to keep you that way. It sounds crazy, but if there are people that are aware that the hidden technologies, let's say Tesla's free energy that he was working on, let's say 0 point energy exists somewhere. With that, and 3D printers, I've said many times, and I didn't make this up. I heard it from some, different places, a variety of people, including Dr. Stephen Greer and a lot of people. There would be no need for money at all. And we're going to talk about Tom DeLonge, and I guess I like what he's doing over there. We have a lot of stories for you today to cover, a lot of ground. You're riding along with me, and I appreciate that because I want to get a lot of information to you. But there's a program, because if people know that there is free energy and most of the world is in pure poverty. What I mean is, a lot of times right now, what I've done for 2 months is like literally unwrapped all the stuff that I put myself and many times and others through last year, for example, because I didn't go about things in a way that was logical with money, period. And I tried a lot of things. There are things that only, my best friends know that I tried. Taking big gambles in order to try to make things happen, but I didn't go about it the right way. And it was comical now, but for 2 months, I basically have been unwinding. I moved, different things happen. Sometimes you have to do this, right? You move, you have to make changes. And when I'm saying unwinding, I'm talking about energetically and not talking to a lot of people, trying to here and there, maybe a little bit, but I'm not that worried about that. And when you're and also getting money straight, doing things that can make a lot of money, because I want to help the world and I have to pay for things and get ahead of it. And, I tried to do it last year. Really focus on that, right? Just that. Because I have been known, I don't know about you guys. Have you spread yourself too thin ever? I don't know. I have spread myself too thin at times. You have too many ideas going on and then you overload other people. And it's like, I don't know, it'd be great if everything just worked, but you got to focus in, right? And so when we're in this survival mode, and it's not just me, listen, I handled things actually pretty well now. I used to be crazy. Every little thing would just set me off into cussing mad in some cases, because it would be like literally I'd wake up and I would just notice okay, I don't know if I was getting tested from my higher self. I don't know what the hell was going on, but it was like, this company, was doing this, not, this, I had to watch this because of deception and incompetence and people trying to take the money. So what you do if you want to get everybody crazy, right? You create money, you make it scarce. So it has to be scarce. And then you just throw it out there and then everybody's eternally fighting over it. Just continuously, because it's scarce. And if I have more, I can do more. And, I need the money from you. So I need to be mad at you because you did something wrong with money. I would love to just not care at all. And that used to sound crazy in terms of money. For example, if somebody took money and they needed it, I guess one way to do that is have billions of dollars, but depending on, and some of those company's worth billions of dollars. They're not even making a profit. Maybe the stock is worth billions of dollars. We're going to talk about Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. And, you know, hopefully it stays that way if it doesn't crash, right? So people get their assets wrapped up in real estate. And I did that. I've done that before. I had millions of dollars in condos when I was 26 and all that. And it didn't end well. It didn't end well. 2008. But, you know, I'd love to just let things ride when some company, if they need it that bad, and sometimes I do. I mean, there's like, you can only do so much, right? But when you're in survival mode, or when somebody's in survival mode, which is literally most of the world is in survival mode, then you're going to be a little crazy. I mean, you're not going to be thinking about, you're not going to be able to lay around and unwind and energetically, you know, get to places where you find out what harmony is and communicate with beings, things that have been happening. I mean, generally speaking, maybe that'll happen anyway, but everything is shifted into, oh yeah, I also need to get money. And because of that, it's like a struggle because everybody else is trying to get money. And therefore, there's a lot of lies. The bottom line is that there's a lot of lies and there's a lot of deception. And then you keep everybody in the survival mode and they keep fighting. And it's like, and it breeds. First of all, it does, you know, through competition, a lot of things, I guess, have happened. You know, I mean, we seem to, you know, there's, you know, a company, we seem to like that. And I have in the past, definitely. You know, if somebody told me like I would be talking like this when I played football at University of Michigan, I'd be like, that sounds crazy, dude. But I have changed. Or at least I'm beginning to realize that, you know, competition, you know, so the idea is like a company puts forward some money, they put forward a product, and if a company competes and it's better, then that company gets rewarded with more money, and through that progress comes, right? Well, that's cool, but it also, you know, causes a lot of people to screw each other over, like a lot. And I'm sure, I mean, I don't, you know, even when you try to do the best you can at that, somebody's going to feel screwed over. Like, because, you know, I mean, yeah, there's stories where there's comedy. I'm thinking of in my head all of the things that have happened regarding this issue. And it's all because stuff is hidden. And let me just play an example of, so we have on screen right now, on the 10th of September 2001, Secretary of Defense at the time, Donald Rumsfeld, announced that 2.3 trillion had gone missing from the Pentagon. Let's play this again.
According to some estimates, we cannot track $2.3 trillion in transactions.
2.3 trillion with a T.
The next day, it was 9/11. The accounting offices were destroyed in the Pentagon.
According to some estimates, we cannot track
Wow, the accounting office was destroyed in the Pentagon. That's interesting. Wow. And then there are, I did this on the, check out the gun control video. I mean, actually, that took me hours and hours. That took me days. If you want, check out the gun control video at believe.love or youtube.com/believe loves you. Because it's like 55 minutes and it's actually, I've got graphics and things going on and I'm trying to streamline things so I get you more content, so I can get things edited faster and we can have shows daily, maybe even some live shows. And we're going to get a background here. We're going to change the video up. You know, we're going to try to do some great interviews with celebrities and people that want to sort of quote unquote be awake, whatever that means. To me, it means just we become more and more aware of ourselves and everything else and try to send love to even the situation. As much as I'm talking about it, it's not, I can't hate my way out of it. If I just yell about Donald Rumsfeld, nothing's going to happen, dude. I'm just going to perpetuate the same thing. And I've done that like a lot. Now I'm getting to the point, like the evolution for me. I don't know about you guys, comment below or on YouTube or on our website, but it's basically like more and more, I mean, not 100% of the time, but I can just say, like, I used to just get fucking, excuse my language, but angry as shit. It's funny that I said excuse my language and that I just swore directly after that, and it would just like compound. I'd have you know, I happen to date girls, and you know, girls and guys are full of crap. I mean, everybody knows that. People lie to each other about sex and love or whatever, and they don't follow through, and holy crap, that's a whole thing. I mean, and then I'd have different things going on with business, and you know, and again, there were some things that worked out, but I wasn't able to focus, let's say, on the good. You know, which is a good talent. You know, that's in The Secret, and then the book after that called The Power by Rhonda Byrne, you know, the Australian lady, right? I mean, you basically have to focus on what you love all the time. I knew that. I tried it. It works, but it still was just overwhelming. And then I get to this point where I just like would blow up at everything, like any little thing, like blah, like just like and then you can do that all day, and I did it. And I would get to the point where I would just be tortured. And then I had to send love to that. And I eventually, somehow, it's freed up. And so now, like, my progression is that I could just say, like, if somebody flakes, right? And it's happened like a million times. I mean, sometimes it doesn't happen. People are reliable. There are, and we all aren't 100% of the time, including me, you know, unfortunately. And I ask for forgiveness and everything else, but like, then I could just say, okay, well, good luck, and leave it at that. Like, and literally the energy, the rage is not there, which that's better than the alternative, which was to be insane, like just feel crazy. And, and we talked in previous episodes about Wi-Fi, and there could be an agenda helping. First of all, we could just be predisposed to being crazy, in certain ways. That's true. Maybe some people get molested. I wasn't, as far as I know, thank God. But I have family members that were, and friends that were, and that would that would do it. And other things based on how we see society resolve things, or our parents, or whatever, right? And there are different reasons why we could become that way, right? But anyway, the bottom line is that there could be multiple factors why this is going on. And if you look at like this Jekyll Island, the meeting at Jekyll Island, the Federal Reserve, Rockefeller, Rothschild. So I put in Google, Jekyll Island, Federal Reserve, Rockefeller, Rothschild. Just start reading, and there's always websites that talk about conspiracy theories, and you find your own truth. But one thing's for sure, there are hidden energies or hidden technologies. I've talked about it a lot. I'm going to keep talking about it because it's really the only thing that matters. Protesting and everything else, because if you can eliminate poverty and take people out of their survival mode, which we're all in. And, I don't know if I just said this, but we talked about Catherine Austin Fitts and other people, a Michigan State professor in previous episodes, that it's this figure from 2.3 trillion that the Pentagon lost is up to 21 trillion or something. And that would like eliminate poverty again in multiple countries, period. So as much of, you know, I don't have to, but if I, you know, argue because this company is keeping $300 or whatever, and okay, that's great, you know, but there's a bigger picture going on, and you need to be aware of it, because it doesn't have to be this way. We actually don't have to argue about money, period. And then, you know, we could still trade, and people could not do what they say, and there could be deception, and that is true, you know, but that doesn't mean that if you don't get that, you're going to be without something, without the ability to eat or live. Because when you are, and when you're constantly, your entire day is revolving around a job and how you're going to get paid, how you're going to make more money so you have freedom, and everything that I was designed to, or I was sort of, that was my game plan as well. It's what I went after for over a decade, because I was trained to do that in the United States. You're going to be locked in on that mindset, and that you're not going to be sitting around letting your energies unlock. And people, I'm just telling you right now that it's highly likely that people know this. Somewhere people are aware that, you know, if you keep everybody in poverty, and then their survival base energies of, you know, fight or flight, or, you know, all of this stuff, it's going to be much harder for them to open up, be quote unquote spiritual. It's going to be harder for them to trust people. You know, trust is the most valuable currency in the world. And even I have not been perfect, but I try to be as high as I can, and sort of if we can get into the 90s, that would be great, right? Part of it is admitting we're not perfect, I think. You know, that's part of being trustworthy and being honest. So, man, this is so important. It's so important. When you feel like you don't have time, you know, I'll get around to meditating when I have time. How many times have we heard that, right? I mean, or how many times have we said that about something? I don't have time. I mean, how often do things come down to time and money? So none of that has to be that way. Think about what a big change on a massive level it would be if nobody had to worry about surviving. Now, there's another argument, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. The argument is that, and this actually makes a little bit of sense, that basically, if you don't have to do anything, you won't. You know, in football, for example, there's so many guys that were like recruits that in some cases I was able to play ahead of. And just to play was amazing, because I'm not that big, you know. And the way I did that was through hard work, you know, but not, you know, paying attention, and it's a whole other story. I'm looking at the light. We got to fix the lighting in here. It's getting darker, but anyway, you're seeing mainly this, the browser window. So that's good. So we're going to get you some other cool things here too. We have a lot more to talk about, but basically, like, if somebody doesn't have an incentive to work, are they going to? So basically, like, if you don't need to fight to survive or make money, are you going to really try to do that? It's a good question. Meaning, like, that I had a ton of money a few years ago because I worked for 10 years. I finally made a lot of money. And then I tried to do this yoga studio, and I spent six figures, well over six figures, well, I mean, in the six-figure range, but well over $100,000, well over, so of in the negative, right? And it was crazy, dude. It was crazy. So, and I did that because I thought, I have access, or I have a lot of money, so I don't need to focus on setting things up correctly, because I can focus more on other things and just get it going, and then I can fix it later and then make money then. Well, that was ass backwards. So the debate, or the question would be, if nobody's worried about survival, are things still going to happen, or is everybody just going to be sitting around? And when we talk about duality, and you look at the law of one, you can Google it. You're going to find like an old school website, right? In fact, let's do that now. I have access to this browser, right? Law of one. So yeah, lawofone.info. So it's just www.lawofone, that's spelled out ONE.info, right? It looks like an old school website, but this is really interesting. So you look through the introduction and you just go, I mean, this is some of the best stuff ever. I mean, listen, if it's fiction, it could be like not only a movie, it could be 10 movies. It could be, I mean, this stuff, if it's made up, it could be made up. Who knows? To me, it doesn't strike me as being made up. And they never tried to make a lot of money off of it. They never tried to turn it, into a movie or anything else, right? So, trying to get comfortable in this chair, right? So, if you look at the law of one, it's basically like there's discussion about our I think galaxy or something, and that basically like, or our universe, and duality. We're in this thing with duality, which is that there's good and bad, there's good and evil, and the thing is like, why is that? And I guess like the example that they talk about is that if everybody was just living in paradise, if there was no bad, there would be no growth. Like people would just be happy. And that they tried that before. They tried that experiment where there was no bad, there was no duality, and people were just chilling because they were happy. And so nothing, like the growth wasn't there. And so when I say like, and it's hard, man, sending love to the bad things. I mean, I was on the phone with the cable company last week. I got some $25 charge. I don't know if I mentioned this before on an episode, but I was pissed, dude. I was pissed. And just about a $25 charge. In fact, that I may have technically agreed to. Like, I may have literally been in the wrong. It's like when a cop pulls you over and you're like, no, I didn't know I was speeding. And then you did know, but you're just mad that you're getting the ticket. Like, I've done that a million times. So anyway, like, the duality could have been set up so that there was growth. And whatever growth means, meaning realizations or what I've gotten from my higher self or invisible beings or something. The first ayahuasca ceremony I had, and I was thinking I was going to work through all my anger. I got information I never really considered. I mean, I was never looking for that information, and it was from something else. I don't know what. I could talk about that for a long time, and I think I have. You can look at believe.love, and we've had great guests, Trisha, I think Eastman, on talking about ayahuasca and plant medicine. And what I got is that there's good in everybody's heart, and the good is what's real here. Like, the good in everybody is what's real. Even killers, even murderers, even people that you think, the worst people. The good is what lives on. That's what's real. Everything else is not. That's what I got. And I mean, I never pondered that. That was never a possibility. I don't even know why. I mean, something told me that. Okay. Somebody, something, myself, whatever it was. It seemed external. So, but I couldn't see anything. So basically, when we say we should love the things we hate, it can be hard to do, even like when the cable company's charging you or something, and you're like, dude, why are you charging me? I paid them on time. I have a story. It doesn't matter. They still got the payment on time, but because my credit card changed, then, they tried to charge the other one, and maybe I agreed to it. So maybe I should pay it. Maybe I should voluntarily pay it. But I need to send love to that. And that's hard enough for me, much less, if there's Lucifer or whatever, the Illuminati and all these people trying to screw us over and putting everybody in poverty, and we have the pedophile networks, maybe. Well, there are some networks, right? Possibly. I mean, okay, well, sending love to that, it's hard enough for me to send love to this cable company for the $25 charge when they still got paid on time, and just because of a technicality that in that case, maybe that was my fault. So, sometimes companies just keep money, but maybe I agreed to that in the terms, right? And so maybe that one, I'm just trying to kind of get out of that, because in my mind, they still got paid on time. So, but still, maybe I did agree to that. To me, that's kind of like trying to get out of a ticket, like a traffic ticket. I think we all try to do that. Sometimes really nicely, and it works. Sometimes you get out of the traffic ticket, maybe, so, but it's hard enough to send love to that. So this duality, the bottom line is, would there be any growth without the duality? And so the idea is, with this scarcity and money, this system that was created where, they're hiding technologies, and now everybody's fighting about money. We're fighting. Would we have done as, quote unquote, as much without that system? And the truth is, I don't know. But you have to think about, what is the definition of doing as much? Like, so are we better than Indians, like Native Americans? Are we better than them because we build buildings and we have Wi-Fi? Like, are we quote unquote more advanced because of that? Or is our definition of what is advanced not the only definition? It's definitely not the only definition. Some people say that dolphins and whales are smarter or as smart as we are in terms of the consciousness. If you put in dolphins consciousness on Google here, scientists conclude dolphins, whales, and many other species are conscious. Well, that's a study. But then dolphins' social intelligence suggests they may share a collective soul. This is in the Daily Mail. Another thing, and I don't know how credible, I'm just looking at the results, but I've looked into this a bit. Still think humans are the most intelligent animals. Here's why whales and dolphins have us beat. It looks, I don't know, they're studying the brain and the speech production and everything else, and the emotions, so this is actually quite extensive here. I don't know if that means it's 100% factual. The point is, there are people talking about these things, and I don't see them with Wi-Fi or, whatever we think we have that's so advanced, like buildings and, running around chasing money because we have to eat. I don't know. But does that mean that we're smarter than them? Technically, it may not mean that. And those are only the beings that we can see with our eyes. And like I said before, dogs and cats can't see color. Does that mean color isn't real? So chances are we are not alone. As we've said many times, And I'm not the only one. Yeah, we can only see 0.00001% of the visible light spectrum, or some very low number. So the point of all of this is that, you got to understand that there's a system of keeping us in our, I would say, either inadvertently at best, or on purpose by something. And is it good or bad? It seems like it would be bad, but, there's a lot of ways to look at a lot of things, but it's definitely not the only way. We don't have to be in this scarcity mode where we're fighting and crazy about money constantly. And like everybody's trying to, not everybody's, a lot of people are honest and they have really good intentions. Even the people that do, there have been companies that they take a long time to pay, and they're not trying to scam you. They just take a long time to pay. But like when their payment terms are net 45 and they pay you a month later, like it seems like their intentions aren't good, but maybe because they're a big company, they take a long time to pay, but it could be because of some bureaucracy. Like everybody's not trying to steal all the time, but still the whole thing, the scarcity, everything is not the only way that we have to live. Like that's my entire point of saying all of this. It is not the only way we have to live. And it's really important that we just think about that. It's really important because it's running, for the most part, everybody who's watching this, it's a huge part of life, and it doesn't have to be that way. And so, like I've said before, if we want to get out of those scarcity, that lower chakras, not that they're bad. I mean, they keep us alive. We have to run. If there's like if a hurricane, we have to get in our car, drive somewhere, and, kind of hurry, that it allows us to do things quickly to survive. But if we're always living in those, which I was, we become an angry mofo, period. And because we're always like, it's like, imagine a dog that's always in the fight or flight, like a dog that you rescue, and they're always like I've been this way. I have literally been this dog where it's like somebody just walks by and they go crazy, like, because they're used to like having to fight. They have to protect themselves, or, people are, other dogs, or, they have to, let's say they were abused or something, and they're crazy all the time because they have to be in their mind. They're not thinking about it because they're trapped in that mode. And just so we're clear, most of the world is basically, it's kind of coming out of that, but billions of people, and even the people in the quote unquote developed countries, even the people, like all of us, a lot of us can eat. We find ways to eat. It's not so hard in the United States, most of us. But worldwide, it's not the same. And even the people that we can eat, well, what's the trick? What's the trick that we do then? Well, now let's make it so you need everything in the media is about materialism, right? So that way you never have enough. Because, if you want the most beautiful girls, you have to get a lot of money, and then you have to be, and then the girls, you have to be, you have to have expensive things and be like, a celebrity, because, or you're not good enough. Sorry, dude. Or, nobody's going to like you unless you have all this stuff. And we like the people who have the most stuff, and we put them in, they're the best in the movies and everything or whatever. And so we need to be like them. And if we're not good enough. And so we can still eat, but we're still in survival mode because we can never have enough. We need more. I need more. I need a bigger house. I need a bigger condo. And then I'm going to get a hotter girl. When I have one hot girl, I need more, which, maybe it's not bad if you're honest with the girl. And she likes that too, maybe. Who knows? But most people lie, especially guys. They lie, right? So then they just need more. And girls, they need to be prettier, and they can't, it's oh my God, I need. And then, so where does that fire? When you're like, I need, that's down here. That's coming from down here, right? It's in those lower chakras, and you have to survive. You have to fight. You have to get more. Oh my God, I need more. Oh, I need more. I can't function if I don't have this. I know. I got the new iPhone, but I got a good deal. I'm very good at getting good deals. With T-Mobile, I traded in my old iPhone 6S and I got like a $300 credit. That's the only reason I got the new iPhone, homie. So we're kept, even when we're surviving, we're kept in our survival chakras because we got to keep the thing going about needing money, because then we can be controlled and things happen. This way, progress is made, whatever that is. I mean, are the dolphins progressing if they're even smarter than us, or as smart or as intelligent? Are they progressing if they don't have cities? Like who came up with that? What person came up with that? The only way to progress is if money's just invented. We invented it. So I guess the coordination, the coordination people could see as progress, and we have new technologies, but we're hiding them. Do you think this iPhone is a technology? It is. I couldn't do that by myself. Right. So it's impressive. But I think with the trillions of dollars, with the unacknowledged special access projects, we have a lot more going on. My God. That we don't even know about. So you guys are really, really amazing. I just want you to know that, you're not alone. And no matter what you're doing, it's hard too, man. People freak me out. I'm going to be honest with you. I freaked myself. I've freaked myself out quite a bit. I didn't know what to do with myself. So I had to start looking inside to try to figure out what the hell's going on, because I was freaking out all the time. Because when you're in this survival mode and when you're fighting, or you're just being a jackass, and I've said I started this show and company or whatever, and it's because, we're trying to bridge the gap in the world. I mean, as much of a jackass as I was, there were people we killed 500,000 children in Iraq, the United States. So I didn't do any of that, but it's still, we want to harmonize things. And, I still have to make money. We can do it by trying to help people. That's good. That's a good way. Because this isn't going to change overnight, but you just need to know that it's possible that it's not all your fault. It's not all your fault, and it doesn't have to be this way. And we can be thankful because it does help us do things, but it can be, there can be different ways to move forward, and we can make it so there isn't so much suffering, and that people do have a bit more freedom to do what they want to do, right? So I want to know what you guys think. I want to know, I'm going to try hitting that mute button when I drink, because I feel like that slurping sound out of the mug is coming out. I don't know. I've listened back before, but I'm just trying to do the best I can. Just get some things out there. And what do you guys think about all this? What are your thoughts about the us having to survive and basically not being able to go within ourselves because we don't have time to? Before, when I hear about everybody's, here's what's going on. Everybody has their agenda of all these things they need to do, these goals. And I want to achieve my goals. And, I need to go to college because then I need to achieve my goals and get more money. And if I don't achieve my goals, then I'm a failure. I need to achieve my goals. And so that's everything. Everything's about that. Achieving my goals. Okay, that's great. But don't you think you kind of, if everybody's about their own goals, haven't you kind of scammed everybody into just doing that and not looking at the bigger picture? I mean, that is why, literally, we can have people even in our own cities, but anywhere, literally starving to death. And we just, I mean, because we're like, well, what am I going to do about it? I mean, I can't do anything about it. I got to go towards my goals. And the same thing with me. There's only so much I can do. I mean, I'm even afraid to talk to the people in Venezuela that I've hired for almost a year because, I'm focusing on like work and efficiency. I can't possibly imagine what they're going through. I mean, I've been to Colombia, the Philippines. I've been to some tough areas, not just the nice areas. I've been up in the cable car in Medellin in Colombia. By the way, I love that place. It didn't seem dangerous at all when I went. I'm sure it could be dangerous. Anywhere can be dangerous. Downtown Detroit can be dangerous. But I went to Egypt. That was rough. So I've seen some stuff. But Venezuela, I mean, everybody can just be going along, doing their thing. And they're just their goals. If they achieve their goals, they had a good life. Okay, well, that's a good way to get people to just kind of stay in a little box, right? Because just if their whole reason for living is achieving their goals personally at all costs or some cost or whatever, fighting for that personally as an individual, then you just keep them doing that perpetually, and there's never enough. You can never do enough. And that's it. You just leave it there. And that's a perfect system for money. So we get trapped in these things, and there's just a lot of ways to look at a lot of things. There's a lot of ways to look at a lot of things. So that's the purpose of our community Believe. That's the purpose of you hanging out with me, is to kind of open things up, open up discussion, and actually take action and be part of the solution. So there's been some discussion. I'm not the first one to probably talk about this, but we want to get people involved. We've had Jim Rogers, a billionaire investor. We've had some degree of celebrities and CEOs and FBI agents, but we're going to try to get some big people on that want changes. And if you want those changes, get people to watch this and share it. Not for me, but for this whole message. Because it's not going to magically transform. We have to transform it by reaching out to people that have influence as well. And the way that they're going to pay attention is because a lot of people are watching something and they can reach a lot of people. And, I think our biggest video, we had 110,000 viewers. So we're going to get those numbers up. I mean, I'm going to work on it. And that was about HARP and the Hurricane Irma. I had no idea it would get to be that size. And actually 110,000 views, if you're just looking around YouTube, that's not that big. But for us, it was big because we worked a lot. And it was a big video. So it was enough. We've had a lot of great guests. I think our biggest interview, we got 30,000 total, David Adair, between all the videos. So that was pretty good. That's pretty good. It's coming along, and then we have iTunes, and there's more views besides the YouTube views, but that's probably most of them right now. So, this stuff is just really important. And all you have to do is share the website, www.believe.love, but don't just share it. Talk about what you think. I mean, when I say believe, I mean believe in yourself. you know? And you guys are the reason why I'm doing this. And we can really make a ton of difference in the world by just really taking action to get those views, to get people engaged, and then to actually do things in real life. I mean, it's sort of step by step. Honestly, it crossed my mind, like, if you just go out and do a hunger strike for free energy on, and by the way, I voted for Trump. Trump is aware of a lot of this stuff. Even if he has Rex Tillerson, is that his name, as the Secretary of State, the ExxonMobil CEO, he's aware of a great degree of this. You know, he is aware that there are things hidden, and all you have to do is play the inauguration speech. Let's see if we can find that now. The inauguration speech, hidden, let's see, space travel. See, Trump inaugural speech. I don't think there's any clips. I should have done clips. I was there in person. He talked about exploring space and unlocking the technologies of space, and also unlocking the cures to diseases that basically we may have had. I mean, he didn't say it like that, but that's the bottom line. He is aware. When I was listening to Coast AM with George Norrie one time, this guest called in, or this caller called in. I think it was a guest, actually. And they're like, basically they're like, hey, you know, we're gonna, we have connections at the Trump administration. So, you know, if you need to get through them, just let us know. George Norrie said this. Like, why would George Norrie, the host of Coast AM, which is like I guess the biggest show of its kind. I love it, by the way. And he's on Gaia.com. Why would, and that's the UFOs. They talk about UFOs and news, but also like a lot of UFOs, paranormal stuff. It's actually quite, I think it's become quite credible, really. I love it when I can listen to it. It's not really online, it's on the radio, you know. But it's like it's a big show. It's a national show. Art Bell was the host for many years. Of course, is everything true on there? No. That's just like anything else in life, anything I'm saying, you know. But George Norrie said he had connections at the Trump administration. And, you know, Trump was a big listener of radio because he listened to Howard Stern a lot. And he also never slept. He stays up late and he wakes up early. So Trump is aware of this. But I don't care if he's, it still crossed my mind to go out and, if I could just have a hunger strike and stand there for free energy. And maybe like, I don't know, maybe some newspaper would say, hey, there's this crazy bald dude down there, like sitting there talking about free energy. And, you know, it's like a lunatic, right? So I'm not going to do that right now because I don't think it would do anything. But eventually, and these things are happening anyway, and we're going to talk about that. What I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to make this a full episode and then come back after a break and split it into a couple episodes here because it's already getting, I didn't anticipate talking about this for over an hour, but I'm glad I did because, you know, these things are literally what this is all about. These are real, these are big ideas. These are ideas like you wouldn't even think of these things. We can be focused on ourselves and how to harmonize ourselves. And it's true. You know, and I did, you know, and it works. It works. You should do that. But that also you could be like, oh yeah, if there are these spacecrafts that have propulsion systems that they want to hide, which by the way, Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, there's a guy that came out and said we had this, you know, Admiral Byrd, BYRD, gave a press conference in Chile. He said in Antarctica there were these flying saucers. And if there are flying saucers, and Dr. Greer has done a lot of work on this, there have been thousands of whistleblowers. Oh, so none of us have to be bitching about money and screwing each other over and arguing and fighting and wondering why we can't trust people because they're out to get something, or they're always worried about themselves and their goals. And to do that, they need money. And to do that, they have to be the best and help people. But maybe, some of the companies are not going to, they're going to kind of keep this much. And, we have to kind of screw around with each other. It's a big, all of us screwing. Oh, that doesn't even have to exist. Oh, shit. That doesn't even have to exist, huh? So we could actually survive. And not only that, all the starving people with conditions we can't even literally think about. Just like when somebody dies, it's hard to like talk to somebody because it's so painful. You can't even say anything, like people don't know what to say when somebody dies because they, which by the way, death in a way could be I don't know that we die, but I grew up thinking that was it. And maybe that was all there, but that's not, there's so many near-death experience studies that why do we all cry for death? But right now everybody does, and I certainly have in the past. And it's hard to talk about those deep things because it's so painful, right? So we just don't. Just like we don't think about, even me hiring 6-7 people in Venezuela, it's hard for me to even think about how crazy it is down. Like in terms of I can't even. So not only do we not need to be fighting about money in the US and maybe like screwing each other over and hiding things and keeping things to ourselves, and maybe some of the pharmaceutical companies, they don't release the cure because it profits more with the treatment. That's where the profit is, right? Not the cure, because then it's done. You cure it. You can't treat it. So you treat it and you constantly can bill people, right? So we're not going to release the cures. And I don't know if that happens all the time, but it could. It's probably has happened, right? It's probably. So we can just not do all that. And then in addition, all those people in conditions that we would think are crazy town, all that doesn't have to be the way it is either. Oh, so it's not just about me harmonizing myself and realizing that, I need to be peaceful and harm. Oh yeah. Why is all this being hidden? Why is this not, we can literally change every form of suffering. I mean, there's not going to be, we create free energy. One of the other arguments, and we're going to talk about Tom DeLonge and To the Stars Academy. And he says that it's either going to be in the episode before this one or after this one, depending on when we post these, right? But he says basically that with their 0-point energy, and he's got Pentagon guys working on this and former Pentagon guys, I think Lockheed Martin. I mean, he's got a whole team that's like credible, right? And he says they can make $1 trillion when they create this 0-point energy. Well, again, with more advanced 3D printers, which we already can, I think, print human organs right now, like they publicly talk about. And you could just print whatever you need with free energy. Literally, like you can print a handgun and the energy is just running the machine. What do you need money for? What do you mean you're going to make $1 trillion? Like, I guess maybe that's, I don't know. I don't understand that. There's some things I don't understand there. But I guess it's good that some of the things are being publicly discussed. I mean, the CNN, the guy from the Pentagon went on CNN and said they were studying UFOs. Now, the flat earth people say this is all fake. And I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. There's some weird stuff. Like, why can't we go to Antarctica? Why does GPS not work in the southern hemisphere? There's some interesting things. I don't know. So we're going to explore all this. But just know there's a bigger picture. And the goal is to take action and be part of the solution. And that's our goal eventually, to where, hey, if I want to go out there and have a hunger strike, if that's what'll help, I don't know if that'll help, but like it will actually get covered. And instead of protesting about, if Trump was with some porn star or whatever, or, we could actually wipe out poverty completely and then everybody can like be free and governments are voluntary, not, and if given that space is real, which the flat earth says maybe isn't. I don't know. It seems real right now, right? we could just like do whatever the hell we wanted. And I think it, in theory, be a lot easier to maybe be peaceful and to enable us to kind of look into ourselves and spend more time harmonizing things deep within ourselves, because we're not constantly worried about all these things we need to do, getting ahead, getting more money, and in this cycle. And then being angry at people that are also trying to do the same thing and trying to and we're in like a competition that never ends. And then we can be angry as hell, right? It's part of it. We don't have to be, but this is going on. So tell me your thoughts. Again, our website is www.believe.love, and YouTube, Pinterest, Twitter, Instagram, all of that is Believe Loves You, and believeandroid.com, believeitunes.com. I'm Nicholas Upchurch. Have a great day or night wherever you may be.